Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we discuss the fate of Corax and the rematch against Lorgar. Spoiler warning to begin, the events we're discussing today are from the short story Shadows of the Past by Gav Thorpe. As always, I really recommend you read the story for yourself first, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, we help to support the great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about. I will put a link in the description as always. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so, as we have been diving into the mind of Corax this week, today we're taking a look at his present state of mind. For while the heresy may have indeed irrevocably changed the Raven Lord, he did indeed survive. Scarred, but very much alive. Now, during the course of this story, members of the traitor legion, the Wordbearers, are building a temple to the ruinous powers on a world within the Eye of Terror. And when I say they're building, I of course mean forcing slaves to do it for them. However, not all is going according to plan. One of the legionaries has gone missing without a trace. And worse still, that makes 4 of them within the last few hours. So what do the Wordbearers do about this? Well, they do what Wordbearers do best. They sacrifice some more slaves, of course. Now, in their defense, this is because they believe their brothers must have fallen victim to a demon. And so sacrificing more slaves will increase their wards of protection. But their attempt is abruptly cut short as a scream echoes out across the Vox. Another of their brothers. And this is a scream none ever dreamed a legionary could make. Once found, they begin to understand why. First, it appears, whatever did this took off his arms and legs, then began on the rest. The body parts are scattered, the scene is gruesome, yet there are slaves still at the scene, having witnessed the entire ordeal. Whatever or whoever did this left the slaves unharmed. The only answer they can give: a shadow came for him. Now, of course, this isn't enough for the Wordbearers, and they turn on the slaves, adamant that violence will yield the truth. And that is when the truth comes for them. A thing like a shadow waited on top of the wall. It was impossible to make out its actual shape, though there seemed something vaguely humanoid about it. Before any command could leave the Dark Apostle's lips, it sprang upwards. Silhouetted against the ruddy sky, the shadow fragmented with an ear-splitting screech. Dozens of winged shapes fell upon the Wordbearers, beaks like plasteel blades slashing at their armour. While not yet revealed to the Wordbearers, Corax has come, and he sets about annihilating them. One after another, they fall to the Raven Lord. The powers he's possessing, unlike anything ever seen. The Wordbearers, clearly out of their depth, begin to run, desperately heading for the portal at the inner sanctum. 17 brothers are left alive, but it matters not. The shadow has come. The mist of black picks one from the ground, snapping the Wordbearer like a stick, twisting him into broken angles, before dropping the traitor to the floor. The Wordbearer's panic rises as Corax resumes some semblance of shape, twice the height of a legionary, wings from his back, and talons akin to spears. As they desperately debate calling for their Primarch's aid, a golden voice fills their ears. The voice came from behind them, as pure as molten gold in the dark apostle's soul. Its tones lifted his spirit in an instant, filling him with warmth. He turned, as did the others around him. The archway glowed with power, showing a vista of a gigantic citadel cathedral. In front stood a gigantic figure, thrice the height of a legionary, a golden-skinned entity wrapped in cloak and robe of flaming rune shapes that swirled from its body. In one hand, it held a wickedly spiked mace that throbbed with black power. Lorgar had already come. The mere sound of Lorgar's voice calms the beleaguered legionaries, and they tell their father of the shadow demon that plagues them. Lorgar, however, instantly recognizes his brother, informing his sons that this is no demon. And here we finally glimpse the Corax of old. The shadow recedes, revealing the power armor beneath, the lightning-clawed gauntlets, and the wings extending from his power pack. Now it's entirely down to your opinion on just what Corax has become, but his words to Lorgar are quite telling. "I am what I always have been," said Corax. "I am vengeance incarnate. I am justice delivered. This place, beyond the veil, has revealed what we all are. Underneath the veneer of humanity our father crafted for us, we are of the warp." Now Corax to me is still clearly the Primarch of old, in all his expected war gear. However, immersing himself into the Eye of Terror, he has unlocked, or maybe more importantly, embraced, the psychic warp essence within himself. Not a demon, but not exactly human either. And the question could be asked, is that really any different than the Primarchs always were? And as you might expect, the Raven Lord wastes no time in going for Lorgar, launching himself at the Demon Primarch. The two brothers go toe to toe, an explosion of psychic powers unleashing. But for all Lorgar's elevation to demonhood, Corax once more takes the upper hand, even driving his claws through the Urizen's throat, forcing the Wordbearer's sons to desperately fire upon the Raven Lord, driving him back, buying Lorgar a moment to retreat, which he immediately does, staggering back through the portal in which he came, fleeing the wrath of his brother. Corax, unable to follow, no matter how much he batters the gateway, reverts to his mortal form, aka Liam Neeson, and he utters the fabled words, "I will find you, Lorgar, and I will kill you." Now the Raven Lord we see here has become consumed by the notion of vengeance. But honestly, it's not that much of a surprise. The Corax we saw in the midst of the Dropsite massacre was filled with an unbridled wrath and fury, something that shocked Lorgar to his very core. And then in the aftermath of battle, the Corax we saw cry amid the field of dead, mourning not only those lost, but the end of the Emperor's dream, the trust that they had forsaken, and in that moment vowing vengeance in the name of the Emperor. The road that Corax travelled from then was motivated by that one thing only: vengeance. Now the interesting thought to me is, during his time in the Eye of Terror, in embracing his innate warp powers, I just wonder if there's been any communication between Corax and his father. A message of blessing or a word of warning? We'll talk the relationship between father and son some more tomorrow, but the Emperor definitely had a good grasp of his son's nature. his passion for justice and vengeance. I don't think he'd be surprised to see this. And if it was within his power, which it could well be, I think he would undoubtedly reach out to his vengeance-fueled son. Where will Corax's quest to end his traitor brothers take him? Well, with many of them now walking abroad in the galaxy, with the opening of the Great Rift, Corax could well follow. And we'll discuss that tomorrow. But as always guys, what do you think? Are you surprised by what Corax has become within the Eye of Terror? Are you surprised he is so consumed with vengeance? Or was this a path he was always going to tread? As always guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again tomorrow as Corax Week continues.